Keep it alive through these lines I write. I keep it live cause I thrive. I might just blow your mind tonight. I'm so hyped, but it's no hype. From this height, it's direct hits on sight. I'm your type, lend me your ears to show you that there's something in me. I'm not giving up, I'm standing right here, holding these days hostage. And I'll make this my year. We turning fear into love, and the love's in the air. I love doing this cause nothing compares. Nothing can share that same type of feeling when you feeling them flares. They can't catch it, it's havoc. I rip to a tear, switch the scenario. My stereos, I leave them impaired. Variables start to change and they're all in my range. I just gotta grab it, it's all mathematics. Every step is drastic, I make it fantastic. I'm trying to take your breath away. Asthmatic.
This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo. This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo.
Yeah, just nod your head with it. So explicit and vivid. Every image is intricate, intimate. I put my all into it. No scrimmage and no rules. I'm a pro tool. Hear my heartbeat beat into the vocals. I'm so loco, lost my mind, oh no. It's ponderoso, dope, so no overdose, cause it's dope, yo. Man, this is house grown, mixed with some milestones. So I let the style flow down like the Dow Jones. Bringing it with some foul tones, letting the crowd know we getting loud, so it's eardrum rudiments. Yeah, we bring it rude again. Move, little hooligan. Music for tuning in, full time to the 10. I'm on my clock like I told you. I'm doing this for
dreams we're pursuing. Thank you all for tuning in. The Anti-Media Radio is back with me, your host, Nick Bernabe, here on UCY.tv and the antimedia.com/radio. It is Wednesday, April 25th, 2018. A lot of stuff going on, and sorry I missed the last show or two. Been working my ass off to keep this thing going. I mean, that's the main thing right now. Just keep the anti-media going, right? And I've been working really hard to secure us some funding. We are approaching several cryptocurrency projects, just similarly to how Ben Swan and the Free Thought Project recently secured funding. We are doing the same thing. However, we're approaching different projects, and it's looking pretty good. I haven't been this optimistic in a long time. You guys know we've been dealing with this just shit show of an algorithm from Facebook who is basically, in an effort to save their own business model, has disrupted ours. And, I guess Facebook's going to do their thing. And so we've been doing our thing and pursuing different avenues. You guys know that we've been going hard on Steemit. We were posting our articles on Steemit first, and they go up on our website like just moments later, so you just keep going to our site. Got some really great stuff in the works once we secure this funding. I don't know how much I should give away at this point in time, but I guess I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. We're going to rebuild the website on top of a blockchain, basically. So we'll be one of the first news websites to be built on top of the blockchain. And once we do that, we are going to open the company up to be community-owned. We're going to be one of the first community-owned companies, news companies. And the site's going to be built on top of the blockchain. So you guys who listen to the show, we're going to build a bunch of new features and stuff into the website. I mean, we've got a bunch of great stuff in the works, and commenting on our website in the future, once all this stuff comes through, you'll actually be able to make money. You'll be able to make cryptocurrency by commenting on our site with clever comments and submitting links to the My News section. You'll be able to actually generate cryptocurrency revenue by doing that. So we're looking forward to that and opening it up to be, community owned, and then our workers that work for the Anti-Media will also get a little slice of the company. So I mean, we got some stuff in the works, and
sweet.
Yeah, dude. And that big
included in that, Nick?
Yeah, you're going to be in. And the big news that I've been telling you guys about, I still can't reveal it because we're under non-disclosure agreements. Let's just say I got the first sample of what the project is going to look like, and I am very, very optimistic. And this is a game changer for independent media. This is going to be the biggest thing that's maybe ever happened to independent media, and I'm happy to say that we've got some really great people included in this, including Derek Brose, Kerry Wedler, Ford Fisher, Justin King from the Fifth Column, Robert Caputo. You guys don't know who he is probably, but he's a guy behind the scenes that helps us do a bunch of stuff. You may have saw it. If you want to go look up the Indie News Van, G3 Indie News Van, go look that up and you'll get a little bit of a sample of what we were talking about, but it's just much, much bigger deal than what you see over there on that. It's just very, very big thing. And if it comes through, I'm telling you guys, I mean, we got some really great shit on the horizon. We've kind of weathered the storm here with Facebook, and we're really starting to see the light on the other side of the tunnel. So good news on that front. I'm not like stressing out on a regular basis because I'm wondering if we're going to be able to keep the company going. I'm happy to say we will be. Thanks especially to our supporters, our financial supporters. You know, this stuff that we do, it costs a lot of money. You know, keeping our website going, paying all the journalists. DB has been gracious enough to be doing this radio show with us for a long time without ever having to pay him, because we do this because we like this stuff too. But you know, for our guys who write articles for us every day and stuff, you know, they have bills to pay. They need to eat as well. You know, I know a lot of people think activists just do shit for free, and many do. But you know, if we want to do this full time and really provide a service to the activist community like we do with the anti-media, well, it's going to cost a lot of money. And I think we're finally in a good place here with our Patreon supporters, with this with the crypto funding that we're hoping to get. Yeah, so good stuff on the horizon, and we got some big plans. You guys that listen, if you want, in the next, maybe, let's give a 6-month time frame here, we're going to open the company up. You guys could own part of the company. We're going to be the first news website on the blockchain. I mean, this is going to be some big deal stuff that's going to be happening. And in a way, I'm kind of grateful that Facebook has pulled all this shenanigans lately, because it really has snapped me out of maybe my comfort zone that I was in for so long with you know, just...
Nick, are you a victim of forced evolution?
Yeah, basically, man. You know, I'll be honest, dude. I was so comfortable with the Facebook gravy train going on for so long. We were making a decent living, you know, just writing articles and posting them on our Facebook page. It was going great for a long time, and I'll be honest, I got too comfortable with it, and I wasn't being active enough and making sure we were going to be able to keep going in the event that Facebook fucked us over, which it has, and we're not the only ones. Facebook has fucked over more or less everybody outside of the scope of the empire, basically. Anyone who isn't a mouthpiece for the empire, well, Facebook gave you the boot stomp. But they can try to censor us, they could try to stop us. It's only going to make us stronger. And I'm telling you, this news that's going to be, I'll be able to share with you guys pretty soon here. You guys are going to understand how big this is. So, that being said, shit, it's been about a week since we've been on the air. A lot of stuff to talk about. First, this Syria chemical attack story has really unraveled, hasn't it? Lots of people who have finally made it over there and took samples, talked to witnesses, talked with doctors treating patients, including Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh, has found no evidence of a chemical attack. No evidence. So basically, again, the U.S. has committed to military action against another government without legitimate evidence or proof or really reason to do it. You know, I know.
So what did happen, though?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there's no denying that there were some people who got hospitalized, but It appears to me like it was partially staged, partially just people getting hospitalized from other things. There's no evidence.
They're getting brazen now, man, and desperate too.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks like it was staged in some ways or another. So yeah, dude, it's
But that's what they've always said. They said that the next war is going to be, it's going to have to be started by something fake because people are over it, dude. People don't want to fight. Ask anybody. Go travel around the world and talk to any normal person on the street. They never want war, dude. It's always just these psychopaths. They have to make it happen.
Yeah, psychopaths who get people riled up with their tribalistic bullshit, nationalistic bullshit, trick people into saying, yeah, we should be against those people for, this reason or that reason. And, a lot of it has to do with manipulation of the group psychology. I mean, look at what just recently went on up in Toronto, right? This lunatic dude went and ran over a bunch of people, and immediately there was a bunch of rumors spreading online that he was this Muslim extremist and maybe ISIS and blah 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 blah. It turns out that the dude was just some whacked out dude that was mad because he couldn't get laid. Right? And he went and ran over a bunch of people. Not with a gun. He ran over people with a car.
Don't you think that's the case for 90% of the dudes, regardless of religion?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah.
Don't you think that like a huge portion of these Muslim guys that go blow themselves up do it because they're just fucked up in the head and depressed or something fucking made them snap? That's the thing, dude. There's a very few people that truly believe if they kill themselves, they're going to meet their maker in a good way. Most people understand if you kill yourself, especially taking out other random innocent people, you're not going to go to fucking heaven.
Yeah, dude. I would argue that anyone that kills anyone else not out of self-defense has some major fucking problems, right? Anyone that's a killer, anyone that's a murderer, anyone that's a terrorist.
Well, revenge makes sense, but it's still fucked up.
Revenge or out of self-defense, it's understandable, right? But generally speaking,
the problem with revenge is that you can never get to the dudes that killed your family with drones. So you strike out at the civilian populations, which continues the cycle. I mean, if people don't understand what's going on in Europe right now is suffering an invasion they created of people, a culture clash, and then they're going to use it as an excuse to go and invade the Middle East.
Yep, exactly. So, a lot of these Islamic extremist types, they think they're acting out of revenge, but, like you said, they're just killing random innocent civilians when they lash out. But the point I was trying to make here is that after this guy in Toronto started run people over on the sidewalk, bunch of this disinformation started coming out. Oh, he's ISIS and he's a Muslim terrorist or whatever. There's always manipulation. There's always this powers that be trying to take advantage of the group psychology. And that's what these guys do to justify these wars. There's a reason why people in this country, there's a reason why Trump's Muslim ban was probably maybe his second most popular policy other than bombing Syria the last time around. It was because people believe this stuff, because after 9/11, there's been a lot of work done to dehumanize Muslim people, and that's why nobody gives two fucks about the people in Syria right now, the people in Iraq or Afghanistan. No one gives two fucks about those people. They only care if American soldiers are dying by the thousands. If not, then who gives a shit? A drone takes out a wedding party in Yemen, which literally just happened several days ago, killing 20 people, including the fucking bride. No one gives a shit about that. The media doesn't even bother reporting on that. They don't give a shit. But if some Muslim dude would have been driving that truck in Toronto, which it wasn't, this would have been a huge-ass fucking story. And everyone, oh my God, we got to ban Muslims. We got to do something about Muslims. We got to do something. Or if it would have been a dude with the fucking AR-15, like, oh my God, we got to do something about guns. We got to do something about guns. But and then the terrorists that we're backing, the Saudi government, the terrorists that we're enabling in Yemen.
Dude, committing genocide in Yemen, dude.
Committing genocide, dropping bombs on fucking weddings, killing the damn bride. No one gives a shit. The media don't give a shit.
It's creating something, though, that's far worse than just the bombings, which is Yemen doesn't really create a lot of food. And even though it does create a lot of food for the Middle East, it's not exactly flush with money to like import food if they, I don't know, have their fields bombed.
Yeah, which is also going on. Saudis are bombing their fields, they're bombing their water supplies. And
so who's dying? The kids, dude. Like, how many kids an hour? Wasn't it like 2 an hour every hour, something crazy like that?
Yeah, some ridiculous number, dude. And the Saudi prince comes over here, the dude that just got done arresting a bunch of fucking people. And again, let's rethink. We got to look back at the way that was covered. It was covered in the U.S. as like, oh, this awesome Saudi prince is purging corruption out of the Saudi kingdom, and he's being a moderate, reformist or whatever. And the dude comes over here. They roll out the fucking red carpet for the guy. He meets with fucking Oprah. He meets with the CEO of
Zuck.
He met with Zuckerberg. He meets with the CEO of Apple. He meets with Elon Musk. Right? He meets with all these politicians. This guy is a fucking butcher, right? They roll out the red carpet for him. Oh, he's so nice. He's such a good prince. He's finally letting women not wear fucking cover over their heads and full on over their faces for once. Oh my God, he's so fucking progressive, right? The dude's a butcher. Dreamy. The dude's a genocidal maniac over in Yemen.
Well, look what's going on. The Houthi youth even got to his palace, dude. Did you see that firefight that happened the other day?
Yeah, dude, I was seeing that.
He's not safe, man. He's over here for his own safety.
He got evacuated. Yeah, you could be right. The king got evacuated. Yeah, you're right. The prince wasn't even there. So yeah, there's unrest going on. There was explosions reported. I saw some videos of some uprising going on. Literally,
no government can resist their own people. I don't care who you are. If we wanted to, we could turn it around in a day. We could take everybody out in one day. There's not a thing they could do about it. Yeah, like a couple million of us would eat it. But you know what? It probably would be worth it in the end. In fact, I know it would. But I mean, somebody's got to be the first dude on the beach, right?
Yep. That's a good way of putting it.
So who's it going to be, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. Over on the antimedia.com, top story, what the media isn't telling you about the chemical attack in Syria. Just go watch the video. It's from Ben Swan. Ben Swan's doing some great work. I'm really glad that he got this
Dash money.
Yeah, he got the Dash money, and now he's fully independent. He has to answer to nobody.
CBS 46 to lick his nuts.
Yeah. Now, if you guys remember, Ben Swan got started at this local Fox News affiliate, and he became popular because he was giving coverage to Ron Paul when everyone else was calling Ron Paul, an unelectable isolationist or whatever. And that's how he got popular. And then he moved from the local Fox affiliate. I think it was somewhere in Illinois. I could be wrong. And then he moved down to Atlanta with the CBS station, and he got taken off the air after he ran a reality check segment on Pizzagate, right? And so he went quiet. They made him take down all of his social media. There's a big backlash on this. And then all of a sudden he pops back up and he's like, "Hey guys, I got funded by Dash, and now I'm going back on the air." And now the dude's more independent than ever. He's not beholden to Fox affiliate. He's not beholden to CBS affiliate. He's fully independent because of cryptocurrencies funding him. And now he's really going after a bunch of stuff that is typically not touched by people, mainstream people. And Swan is a very mainstream looking guy, and he's obviously got journalism training. He's been on TV. He's a very credible figure in the media, and so
he's the bridge, dude, isn't he? He's the bridge for people to watch like what they think's a mainstream media figure, but he's talking about stuff they won't touch, all the taboo subjects. And now he is, dude. I'm sure he's worth a couple million because he got into Dash early, and now it's like $50. And he's set up, man. And I remember meeting him with you when we were at that thing in L.A.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was a shorter dude, but you could tell like he probably power lifted or something. And you know, I hope he's out there, you know, kicking, you know, ass and taking names, because they definitely silenced him for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Seems like he is. So go check out that video. Just lining up all the evidence against the mainstream narrative on the Syria attack, because it definitely, like I said, this whole narrative is falling apart, and you know, it's just seems like another, basically a false flag. I mean, there's no, I hate to use that term because it's been overused, and people like to call everything a fucking false flag now, like as soon as it happens and all that. But this Syria thing, it does look like one, and when it looks like this chemical attack was staged and then blamed on the Assad government, well then that's, you know, that qualifies as a false flag, and that's what it appears to be, in my opinion anyway. What else we got going on, dude? Lots of news, man. DB, is there any news on your radar, bro?
Well, I don't know, dude. I kind of just hear a wide spectrum of things going on, so I don't know. I try to avoid the extreme ends of either spectrum, especially because you hear about, oh, you know, Kamala Harris and blah 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 on the Democratic side. So I'd be really surprised if we get into an election cycle that's just like normal. I mean, I think we're on the verge of, I think we mopped up North Korea diplomatically, but I don't think Iran's going to do anything because we're paying them like $250 billion a year. I don't know if you knew that, Nick, but that's a huge amount of money. That's like a bribe for them right now, and we're going to cut that off and probably do a regime change over there again. So it sucks for the people over there, but I mean, it's kind of in the cards.
Yeah, so North Korea seems to be cooling off a bit. I don't know. You know, it seems like all of a sudden Kim Jong-un is trying to come to the table. Now, there was news today that their nuclear test site collapsed, and that China's worried that there's going to be radioactive plume flying into their territory and stuff.
Oops.
Hard to say, because you know how North Korean media is. You don't really know what's going on over there. You just know the government's version of events. But that could explain why all of a sudden Kim Jong is like, yeah, we're done. You know, we're ready to give up our nuclear program. Well, part of it might be because their fucking nuclear site collapsed and they can't really use it anymore. That could be part of it. I'm not sure. But it definitely looks like good signs coming out. Other than this nuclear site collapsing, which is messed up, it looks like North and South are really starting to get along. And shit, man, there's been lots of chatter now that they're finally going to officially end their war, because North and South Korea, many people don't know this, but you know, technically they're still at war. There was like a what would you call it, like an armistice or something? I don't know. They basically say, all right, we're not going to kill each other anymore, but the war ain't over, and we're just going to kind of draw a line in the sand, and you don't cross it, we don't cross it, and we'll be okay. They're finally talking about, okay, we're going to actually officially end this war, and there's even talk of reunification. Now, I don't know how that's going to work, because I don't really see Kim Jong-un saying, oh yeah, I'm not going to be the fucking, you know, supreme leader anymore. I don't really see how that's going to work, and I know South Korea is not going to be like, oh, we're just going to fall under the rule of North Korea now. That's not going to happen, obviously. So I don't know how they're going to go about reuniting and all that stuff. I'm sure there's other examples from history that we could look at and see how they do it. I just hope that
West
they can
and
find
East Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main thing, is East Germany was completely militarized and West was open and free. So you're going to see an intermingling, and then, of course, over the next generation, South Korea will become the dominant spectrum, and it has to be, because North Korea is starving.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're starving, dude. So like, you can't a culture that's starving is not viable, no matter how strong arm you use tactics. It's just like China right now they're in a precarious position because they're at the point where they're using things like social credit and these programs because they have so many people, and they have to keep them in line somehow. They've already disarmed them. They've done everything they can do, but there's just so many people that they have to basically turn them on each other. So that's what this social credit thing's about. see something, say something by law. And we don't want that to come here. And the way to break it in China is actually to somehow make it so that the people rise up. And the only way that the U.S. can think to do that is to cut off their food, because we ship them all their food. So that's kind of what the balance of the world right now is, that, dude. It's like China cannot do anything to us because we could cut off their food. But then if we do anything to them, then they'll fight us, and that wouldn't be good, because probably Russia would get involved and they would probably pile on us. So, yeah, this is 1984 in a nutshell right now.
Yep, really is. And I forget what that territory was called in 1984, where they would just continuously have wars. But that's
like
basically
Oceania, and wasn't it like Oceania, Eurasia or something
like that.
Remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last one.
There was one place where they would just go and fight to keep jobs going, basically, and destroy resources, right? And that's basically what's going on right now in the Middle East, and so
it's crazy to think that the business model on a finite planet's destruction and reconstruction, when we're supposedly having a limited supply of everything. And is the cycle literally just to depop to the point where it all grows back and that only the elites survive with the slave class? I mean, that's what I think they're trying to set up.
Yeah, hopefully not, man. Hopefully not. I am optimistic on this North Korea stuff. But as you said, these guys it looks like they're shifting their focus from North Korea, and maybe they'll let that cool off for a while. But they're definitely shifting focus to Iran. There's going to be some negotiations next month regarding the Iranian nuclear deal. And we're going to have to wait and see how that goes, man. We've talked about this before. Iran is not going to be like Iraq. It's not going to be, we go in 2 weeks later, we take out the leadership. That ain't happening. It's a much, much, much bigger deal. These guys are battle hardened. I mean, they've got all that. Part of the reason why Iran is involving itself throughout Iraq and Syria and all that, and Lebanon and the Levant with Hezbollah and I forget the other name of that other militia. But part of the reason is they're battle testing, dude. Like these militias are now basically they're like cockroach style guerrilla militias, dude. Like you can drop bombs on them, and good luck getting rid of them. They're going to be back up, a week later. They're going to be, still there. Like these guys, you can't just go around bombing them. And it's kind of like what the U.S. has been dealing with in Afghanistan for the past 16 years, right? You can't just bomb these guys. They go underground, you bomb, they come back out, and they take you out. And this is what Iran has been testing and training for. These guys we'd never defeat them, dude. It would just be another Afghanistan, but much worse.
It accomplishes their goal, which is just to set the Middle East on fire, ruin the global economy, make mass starvation around the world, because the oil economy grinds to a halt. And we don't have the infrastructure set up yet, even though the tech is there. There's not Tesla coils all over the place. So we need oil for the foreseeable future until we all get to the point that we could have been off it for 100 years or something. I mean, we're so vulnerable to these dudes to shut off the tap.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of this is about. It's about oil, and we all know that. We've been knowing that. So, as Americans, I think our next big stand is going to have to be with Iran. I think the people are going to be more reluctant to do anything with Iran because people understand that history, and Iran is such a much bigger target than Syria. And I'm happy that the Syria strikes didn't escalate. I'm happy that Russia didn't retaliate. I'm happy that Syria hasn't retaliated, because they could easily just say, all right, we're gonna start bombing Israel. That could easily be an escalation that could happen, right? I'm glad that hasn't happened yet, because again, the last thing we need is these the new world superpowers going up against each other and causing some really fucked up nuclear, mutual destruction shit from happening, which is what's going to happen if the next world war kicks off. No one's going to win that war. I mean, we all are going to lose that war. So,
not even the elite, because they if they think they're going to live through it. I mean, in dumbs, they have to know that every country in the world's set up weapons to get through those dumbs, through the concrete and everything, X-ray weapons and shit. So, I mean, scalar technology's been around since Tesla, and you can get through solid concrete. The only thing that really blocks it is if you lead line it. So, I mean, I suppose they could have done that, and then they'll just blow the entrances and trap them in there, and they can just die a death of decadence trapped in the dumbs with all the drugs and whatever the hell they have down there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be a hot spot. There's a few things happening mid next month with Iran, and also down with Israel and Palestine. I think it's on the 14th of May. We've got some really big things happening where they're going to do the move to Jerusalem, and one of the princes of England are going to be over there, and it's also coinciding with Israeli Independence Day, and there's going to be a bunch of back and forth with Palestinians. And that thing hasn't really cooled down. I think part of the whole Syria thing was Israel trying to, distract from its own PR nightmare, where it killed dozens of people, injured 1,000 at this point, and just the other day hit another journalist, killed another journalist. Part of that was that, but the Israel-Palestine situation remains the big powder keg in the Middle East, where these guys, you got kind of the U.S. and Israel facing off against the Iranian-backed coalition over there, and they're fighting out their proxies in Syria right now. So, that battle has basically been won by the Iranians, and that's again why I want to stress this point, that Iran is no slouch. I mean, the U.S. hasn't been able to do shit in Syria. Israel hasn't been able to do shit in Syria. Saudi Arabia hasn't been able to do shit in Syria. And a major reason behind that is because of these Iranian militias that are over there whooping ass and getting much better at whooping ass because they keep on improving. And so it's just... It's not going to be a cakewalk like Iraq was. And look, shit, we're still in Iraq. It wasn't even a cakewalk, even though we went and knocked them out. The leadership, we knocked them out in a couple of weeks. Not a cakewalk. We still haven't won that. And we won't. We're not going to win that. We wouldn't win a war in Iran. I mean, this is going to be the big thing that we're going to be focusing on next if the attention shifts away from North Korea and from Syria, and it goes directly to the source, which is what they've been trying to beat around the bush with. In Syria, they've been beating around the bush. The real target has always been Iran, and if they try to do something there, that's going to be where we're going to have to make our stand. And unfortunately, I think the Democrats, who, of course, we all remember the Democrats were all anti-war when it came to Bush, and it's like, oh, Obama, he's going to end the wars and all that. And then, we saw what happened. Obama got into power, and then all of a sudden the Democrats didn't care about the empire anymore. And whatever. One of the problems I'm worried about is that these fucking sociopathic politicians are so bad that one of my new theory is that the Democrats are actually helping enable Trump's awful foreign policy so that they can run against it in the next presidential election. So like the Democrats in Congress are literally just like, whatever, dude. In fact, the new authorization, Congress has been talking about, we're going to, do something about Trump being able to use this authorization of use of military force. The proposal they put forward actually gives Trump even more fucking power, dude. Not even joking. That they put a bipartisan AUMF forward to committee that gives Trump more power to basically go to any country he wants and bomb anytime he wants. And it's a bipartisan thing. The Democrats are supporting it. And I think a lot of this has to do, not only with the Democrats just being an integral part of the left wing of the empire, but also it's just their politics. I think they're trying to enable Trump to make more and more problems on foreign policy, so that in 2020 they can say, "Oh, look how bad Trump is." They're going to try to pull a George W. Bush on him and say, "Oh, he's so bad. The Republicans are so bad. Look at all these wars they've gotten us into." Meanwhile, of course, the Democrats in Congress are the ones who enable it. And then they're going to run their Democratic nominee and say, "Oh, look, our Democratic nominee is against the wars," just like Trump was when he was running, and just like Bush was and Obama was.
As hell, too.
Yeah, dude. A lot of the Democrat people running for Congress are like former CIA operatives, dude. Like 60 of them. It's ridiculous.
Anyone who votes for any of those people has serious problems.
Yeah, they'll get votes too. They'll get votes just for being in the party.
Gross, dude. It's just, that's how it dies. It doesn't die through any kind of fake-ass Russian collusion. It dies from being right in your face and you doing nothing about it.
Yep. Yes, sir. So, what do we got? We got Flint still fucking dealing with lead water, and a bunch of other places around the country dealing with lead water, and we got
We got it up here, Nick.
Spending $1 trillion a year on military shit, and they can't fucking fix the damn lead pipes that kids are drinking out of.
I kid you not, there's a suburb up here that's getting all their lead pipes replaced now. At least there's money up here to do that, but I mean, their taxes are going up by like $1,000 a year for like 15 years. The average home buyer or homeowner.
Damn. Lots of gains on legal marijuana, dude. Now I think the snowball is now big enough where it's just going to be a matter of time before the feds finally back off the marijuana issue, and then it becomes a legitimate industry nationwide. And it's going to be a boom industry. I mean, I can see marijuana and blockchain being the two fastest growing industries in the country for maybe the next 20 years or so, until the next big thing comes along. So that's really good. I don't know if you saw, but what's his name? Chuck Schumer, the fucking most influential Democrat in the Senate, introduced a bill to legalize marijuana at a federal level, kind of push it back to the states, let each state decide what they want to do. Basically decriminalization, where, if you're in a backward-ass state like fucking, I don't know, Alabama, let's say, and your state wants to be stupid as hell and say, "Oh no, we're going to keep it illegal." Well, your state can do that, but the state next to you, like let's say Georgia, could be like, "Oh no, we're actually going to legalize marijuana and we're not going to throw people in jail for that no more." The feds are no longer, if this bill comes to pass, which would be awesome, and Trump has signaled that he may support it actually, which would be cool too. The feds would no longer really be chasing after people for marijuana. That would relieve a lot of pressure on people who are already in the legal marijuana game in places like Colorado, California, everywhere on the West Coast where we don't think backwardly about that kind of stuff. It would relieve a lot of pressure and allow for like genuine investment, big time investment coming in, and see a real maturation of the marijuana industry, and start seeing it in regular store, start seeing marijuana where you can buy it at retail, at stores, see the price come down and stuff like that. A lot of business opportunities for people who are trying to look for a way to make money and not feel bad about what they do, making marijuana, selling, growing, and manufacturing marijuana products is a very good industry in my opinion. So that's pretty cool. Although there are still people getting fucked in places where marijuana is legalized. For instance, a guy in where is this? Somewhere in Pittsburgh. 24-year-old man is a headline from yesterday on the anti-media. Jailed for 10 days after testing positive for THC, even though he was a legal medical marijuana patient. And basically, the dude went to court for some fine, and he's sitting there talking to the judge, and the judge is like, "Dude, are you stoned?" And the judge accused the guy of being stoned in court, so they gave him a drug test, and of course he came up dirty for THC, which if anybody knows who's tried to pass a drug test after smoking, that shit will stay in your system for like 3 weeks, right? So the dude got thrown in jail. He's a legal medical marijuana patient in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he got thrown in jail for coming up dirty on a THC test or on a drug test for THC, and he spent 10 days in jail because he didn't have his medical card on him at the moment when the court decided to drug test him. So even though he was a patient, they threw him in jail for 10 days, and his lawyer finally got him out of jail, and it was a big mix-up. He wasn't able to prove at first that he had a card, and because they have such a weird bureaucratic system, they weren't able to call his doctor and confirm it. So the dude spent 10 days in jail. So just be careful out there, guys. I mean, if you live in a medical marijuana state, do your thing, but still, don't get into altercations with the fucking state. The cops, the sheriffs, the judges, the feds, just stay away from those guys. And also on this topic, I'm sure you guys have heard about how there's some states like, Hawaii, I'm trying to remember the other one, might have been Oregon, where they were saying that if you're a medical marijuana patient, you can't have your guns. Well, we should also keep that in mind too. If you live in a state that's making databases of medical marijuana patients, do you really want to join the government's medical marijuana database? I would argue if you don't have to, don't do it, because then someday later they could take away other rights of yours because they can say, oh, well, this fool's a medical marijuana patient, so we shouldn't allow him to have a driver's license anymore, or we shouldn't allow him to have guns, or we shouldn't allow him to, do this or do that. You always run the risk when you enter yourself into a government database that you could have other rights taken away. So you should be careful about that. But generally speaking, lots of positive movement on the cannabis front. Shit, I saw Missouri. I think it was Missouri. Missouri is advancing marijuana legalization legislation. I mean, Missouri is one of the most backward-ass states in the country. Deep South, deep red, deeply evangelical Bible Belt state started to advance medical marijuana legalization stuff. That's how you know the snowball is rolling downhill. And I think the feds are going to legalize it in the next 4 years, maybe less. I think, and I think it'll probably happen under Trump. But this will be good news. Be good news for everybody, because then. Not only will people stop going to jail from marijuana, and we'll start being able to reap the benefits of it on a commercial level with hemp and all the awesome uses of hemp and all the medical uses of marijuana. But the other thing, and one of the things why I think marijuana has always been discouraged by governments ever since, in the last 100 years, is because it actually makes people think differently. I don't know if you guys, maybe it's just me, but I know everyone that I smoke weed with, are relatively more awakened individuals that actually know what the fuck is going on and aren't these brainwashed CNN watching fucking, just psychosis, idiots. People that smoke weed tend to be like more or less aware of what's going on and are more likely to, be able to see through the bullshit. And I think that's part of the big reasons why these governments have always kept it illegal. We know that the reasons why they say it's illegal is all bullshit, right? All that propaganda, the reefer madness crap. Oh, it's going to make you crazy. It's going to make you violent. It's going to make you kill people, wreck your car, blah, blah, blah. Like, we all know that's all bullshit. Or that is bad for you, or that kills brain cells or whatever. All that shit is basically bullshit, right? And so you have to wonder, well, why did the government really ban it? Well, I know a lot of people would say it's the industrial people who wanted it banned because it threatened the paper industry, it threatened the oil industry, it threatened the pharmaceutical industry. I think there's a lot of truth to those claims, but I think there's also the reason why governments have been so likely to ban, and in fact, there's only like a handful of countries that have already made marijuana actually legal on a federal level. There's only a handful of countries that have done that. I think it's because they're worried about the way people will think differently, and that it'll lead to change in the government structure, change in the way things go on. I think stoners are actually going to be the people who change the fucking world for the better. And so if this tide is rising here in the U.S., where there's just no turning back, marijuana is going to be legalized in the next few years. I think we're going to start seeing big changes, and the politicians are going to have to answer for it. And people aren't going to stand for it no more because everyone's going to get stoned and be like, you know what, dude? These guys are fucking bullshit, bro. I'm fucking so high right now. These guys are fucking full of shit. Like I say it kind of jokingly, but I'm dead serious, dude. The stoners are going to change the world for the better. And that's why these assholes have been banning marijuana for so long, because it makes them lose their power. So that's good news. It's really good news. Can't wait for the day.
That is good news.
I can't wait for the day that we can say, you know what, marijuana is federally legal, so fuck all you motherfuckers.
It's getting close up here. I think it's going to be coming up in our next election that it needs to go beyond medical.
Yeah, dude. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised.
We could buy alcohol on Sunday, so.
Oh, shit! You know what, dude? That's funny. I was just talking to another friend, like, yeah, bro, we could buy beer on Sundays now. I'm like, what the hell? You could do it before it?
It's groundbreaking.
Oh, man. You see what religion does to these people? Yeah, I remember going... in fact, I think in Mexico, I used to go party down there all the time. I still do every now and then, but I used to be a party animal. And we'd go and we'd be like 9 in the morning out there trying to buy beer, and they're like, oh no, bro, you can't buy beer until 10 in the morning. Like, wait, what? Like, oh, you can't buy beer till 10. Like, oh, that's weird. Okay, it's your little religious...
It's God's hour, dude.
Yeah. You got to give God a few hours to wake up in the morning before you start drinking beer in his name.
That's true.
Shit. What else? Where's Jake at, dude?
He was overloaded with Elisa Lam research.
Jake's got some big news to break to our listeners. I guess we won't blow it for him. We'll let him announce it next show. You know, Jake's such a humble, modest guy. He's gonna act like it's not a big deal, but it is. We've gone through some dark months here with Facebook and their shit, but we're starting to see we're really starting to see some good shit happening, dude. Like, the anti-media is going to be bigger and better than it's ever been, and I think the plans that we have, our plan of action is going to make us one of the most formidable media companies in the country pretty soon here, maybe in the next several years. As the TV stuff keeps dying off, and these fucking asshole mainstream people keep exposing themselves for their bullshit, the bullshit that they are. The Sinclair thing, I'm sure you guys saw all that Sinclair stuff. You saw that, right, DB? Where they just all said the same message, like hundreds of different local news stations. You saw that? So Sinclair Broadcasting owns like hundreds of different local news outlets. So like, let's say your local CBS news outlet, right, in your local town. You think that it's, I don't know what you'd think it is. I never really gave it much thought when I was younger and used to watch that stuff, but you would think it's like, oh yeah, CBS probably owns that, and it's just like a franchise of CBS or a franchise of Fox. Well, it turns out that most of these many of these local news outlets are actually owned by bigger news conglomerates, not necessarily the ones they're branded with. So like the local, NBC or CBS news outlets aren't necessarily owned by NBC or CBS. Many of them are actually owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, which is a conservative, a news conglomerate with conservative views. Nothing inherently wrong with being a conservative news outlet, because a lot of the mainstream media is liberal news, so that's completely understandable. But it's crazy how scripted these guys are. Sinclair made all these local news journalists recite the same exact script, and it caught attention, went viral, because someone edited it down, made it sound really creepy. But this stuff's been going on for a long time. Jon Stewart used to call it out, and a bunch of other guys. And recently, the story we covered recently on the anti-media is how MSNBC did this big, 15-minute, basically infomercial about how amazing Comcast was. I don't know if you saw this one, DB, but MSNBC ran this huge, basically, infomercial about this thing called Comcast Cares Day. So it's about how Comcast cares about the world, cares about people, cares about efficiency, cares about the environment, cares about minorities, and blah, 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 blah. A bunch of different stuff, right? And MSNBC aired this huge thing, and Al Sharpton compared Comcast to Nelson Mandela. And I know Comcast has a really bad reputation because people absolutely hate that company because they have terrible customer service and they have high prices, and in many places they have a monopoly on the telecom industry and stuff like that. But MSNBC ran this infomercial without disclosing the fact that MSNBC is owned by Comcast, right? And so you got this huge conflicts of interest in the media, and everyone wants to talk about, we have the free press and freedom of speech and the First Amendment and blah blah blah. All these companies, dude, not all, I don't want to say all, but most of these companies, Washington Post, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, they're all owned by these huge giant companies, right? And in fact, the company that owns CNN right now, I forget the bigger umbrella company. I know it's part of like Turner Broadcasting or something. They're in talks of merging with AT&T, right? And so if that happens, you're talking about AT&T, this giant fucking company who in the past already got broken up because it was too big of a monopoly. Is if the deal goes through, would also own CNN. You're talking about these major conflicts of interest, dude, where CNN would basically no longer be able to cover any stories about that make AT&T look bad. And the same way that the Washington Post won't cover anything about Amazon and how Amazon is making their fucking employees, their employees are pissing in bottles because they're too afraid to take a break, right? Washington Post won't fucking talk about that. And so you got all these conflict of interest with the bogus free press, the fake, I don't even want to call them the fake news media. That's so fucking cliche at this point, right? But you got the fake free press in the United States who pretend like we're just these objective, independent observers, and we cover all the stuff that really matters. No, you don't. You guys are owned by these massive, massive conglomerates, and you do you do their bidding. That's what they do. They want wars. They want to make money for their defense, for their defense company that they also own. Well, MSNBC, go get us into a fucking war in Syria. Okay, got you, buddy. That's what these guys are. It's all bullshit, man. But we're going to fuck these dudes up. I'm telling you guys right now, I have been re-energized, and I got a fucking plan. We're gonna be a news outlet owned by our fucking readers and by our workers. And we're going to be built on top of the blockchain. We're going to be uncensorable. Like, we're going to fuck them up, dude, in the next coming years. These guys are in for some big trouble. And there's other stuff that I've been telling you guys about. The stuff that I can't talk about yet is going to help make this happen. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to make it big. And you know what? We're going to bring this empire some transparency, dude. And we're going to get the power back to our people. We're going to take the power away from these assholes that are going around the world killing people for money. Or return it back to our people. When we're done, we may no longer be an empire anymore, but I'll tell you what, dude. I'd rather be a person living within a modest country with a clear conscience than a person living in decadence with blood on my hands. I'll tell you that much.
We'll never be modest, and that's the whole fallacy, Nick, is that we have everything we ever need to live a great life, and if we shared our tech with everybody else, and we lived in a truly free, open source world and open society, not this freaking Soros crap open society, but a real one, where the people could corroborate and collaborate freely. And if they could, dude, we would have such a high standard of living. You'd never see anybody on the street begging. There'd be so little crime. It'd be all basically people who are insane or crimes of passion, because 95% of crime is economic. And then, I mean, you'd free people up to pursue their passion. They'd actually get good at something and contribute. Most people in the world right now, even the ones that have advanced degrees, are doing worker drone jobs. I don't care who you are. Even if you're a scientist or a doctor or a lawyer, that's a worker drone job, dude. The true creators right now are people that took a risk and got lucky, and they're rich and they can continue to create. But it's so rare, dude. And if we were all free to do that, imagine where we could be.
Yep. There's no reason we shouldn't be that way either, except for these motherfuckers stealing our shit, killing people with it. So I'm gonna bring transparency to these people, and we'll see where it goes, dude. I'm optimistic, man. I'm optimistic. We just look, and I know we say this all the time, but we're in a time crunch. We have to prevent these guys from getting out of, in an act of desperation, launching World War III. That's what we have to stop, because if we can stop World War III from happening, the inevitable is going to happen next, which is the whole world's going to have freedom. That's what's going to happen next. We can prevent these assholes with all the power from using it. The technology that we're creating is going to take the power away from these people and return it back to us. That's what's going to happen. And there's going to be no preventing it unless you nuke the whole fucking world. That's the only way to stop it. And I wouldn't put it past these sociopathic lunatics to actually do that, because they're so damn greedy and so damn power hungry that they would actually destroy the world if they can't have it. It's like, you guys ever play video games with that kid where it's like, well, if I can't play the video game, nobody can. They fucking unplug it or turn it off or some shit. Those are the guys that run the fucking world right now, and I'm afraid that they would do some stupid shit like that when they notice that, oh shit, this blockchain technology is totally going to wipe out our central banks and basically take away all of our power. Well, fuck, we got to launch a World War III to fucking stop it. I wouldn't put it past them, dude. I really wouldn't. I hope that's our big challenge. I think that's what we have to stop. Stop these crazy assholes from going and doing some active desperation.
That was the Jeb Bush presidency that we somehow missed, Nick.
Jeb. He seems like such a nicer guy than his brother and especially his fucking dad. Oh yeah, on that topic, what's her name? Died. Was it Barbara? Is that her name?
Barbara.
No, that was
Barbara?
George W. Bush's wife, right?
Barbara.
One of them died. I don't know. I didn't get sad. Now I know the first ladies are probably less involved in the dirty, grimy shit. Like, I feel bad for Melania. I actually thought Michelle Obama was pretty cool. I feel really bad for Melania, and I don't know. I guess I'm not a huge fan of Barbara Bush just because she was married to such an asshole, and that her kids are also huge assholes. At least George W. Bush.
Not Jeb, though.
Yeah, Jeb seems like a nice, innocent kind of dummy. I don't know. He seems too dumb
Jeb's
to be
pretty
bad.
Smart, I think.
Hey, he's smart for not winning the presidency, man. Who the hell would want that job? Like, you gotta be some really twisted motherfucker to want that job.
You don't ever get that job. You get installed. It's just either option A or option B. That's why it's never a thing, dude. Even if we had a third party, it would at least make it interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it looks like Bernie's getting ready to go at it in 2020. But
they're going to dig the skeletons out of his closet, though. His wife's going to tear him down before he even gets going.
Yeah, that could be the case. His wife, there's not too much dirt on Bernie, but yeah, his wife could.
She got involved with the Catholic Church. That was not smart.
Oh, is that what happened? I don't know enough about it. Press Freedom Index. U.S. dropped 2 more slots. Not a big drop. It actually started dropping under Obama with his war on whistleblowers and, the Snowden stuff and all that.
And what country had the biggest jump? Wasn't it Cuba?
I'm not sure. I didn't see who jumped up, but press freedom has gone down across the board a little bit this past year, so got to keep us safe, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Anti-Media Radio. Peace out.
I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo. This is live through the stereo. stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo.